And hello there, my name is Max, also known as M. Kieran, and welcome to another writing exercise. If you're new to this particular channel or the way that I do things, let me tell you how this is gonna go. Today I've got an exercise just for you. We're going to be talking about the idea of in media res, whatever that fancy Latin term means, and apply it to a particular scene. I'm going to give you a prompt, and you can take it, you can twist it, you can have fun with it, whatever you do, as long as you sit down and get some writing done. That's right, this video has 10 minutes allocated for you to sit down and write, because we all know that being timed makes us perform way better than otherwise. The clock's ticking, 10 minutes. I'll even put some music in the background. So while I give you the general setup of what's gonna happen today, how about you go get your notebook or writing software, get ready, put on your headphones, because we're gonna get some writing done today. Okay, so what is the idea of in media res? Well, it's a fancy Latin term that boils down to in the middle of things, or into the middle. And the idea of in media res in regards to fiction is writing a scene in the middle of things, beginning not at the beginning of a scene, but rather in the middle of things, or right at the climax of a particular situation. In regards to writing, it throws the reader right into the middle of a situation. No need for setup, no need for giving you tons of exposition, it just starts. And that's gonna be the focus of today's writing exercise. So, I hope you have your stuffs ready, headphones, writing software, you know what to do. And as always, one more time, if you have to twist this prompt, morph it, mesh it with something else, you do what you need to do. The goal of today, it's not really at its core to do the prompt that I'm proposing you, but all I want from you, being entirely honest, is just to sit down and write. There are so many distractions in the world, and you're on YouTube, so I want to stand as a force of good to push you to get some writing done. Just 10 minutes. It's not a lot of time. It actually isn't. But 10 minutes goes a long way, and that would be 10 minutes that you wouldn't have done otherwise. So, let's dive right in. Today's prompt, I'm gonna give you two options. You can either A, write a scene from the story you are working on, or finally start that book. Write the opening scene that you have always thought it would be. Except with a catch. You're gonna start that scene right in the middle. Don't begin the heist at the beginning, at the planning stages, at the beginning of the heist. No, you're gonna write as soon as things go to hell. And as I've already hinted, if you don't have a particular scene or you're not certain what to do, then allow me to give you a prompt. Tonight, if you don't have a character to write, I will provide you with one. You will be writing from the point of view of codename Dawson. Dawson is a criminal. Dawson just committed a crime, and the police are after them. What did they do? Was it a heist? Was it a murder? Was it a robbery? Was it something even worse? Or something even lesser? What pushed Dawson to do this? Where are they? What are they gonna do now that the cops are after them? All these things are things you're gonna decide by yourself. The only thing that matters is that all things have gone to hell and the cops are after them right now. What do they do? I want you right now to focus. Get your fingers on the keyboard. Get your pencils ready. The time to write is almost upon us. I don't have a beginning line for you because you just have to jump in. You have to take us in right in the middle of this scene. If you want a little bit of a hint, start with how our character is feeling. I like to do that myself. What is Dawson feeling right now? And what is he gonna do? Not at the beginning, but right at the middle of things. Okay? Focus. Visualize this place in your mind. And at the count of 3, we start, okay? 3, 2, 1, go! 60 seconds remaining. Alright, time's up, pencils down, fingers of the keyboard. If you minimize this video, please bring it back up. And welcome back. Oh man, I sure hope things weren't alright for Dawson there. Probably not. 10 minutes is not a lot of time, so I don't expect that everyone made it like super far into the story. But what was it like, starting in the middle of things? I've talked about it a lot in this channel that I particularly like doing things like that, especially for the beginning of stories. Because I find that the beginning of stories, especially first chapters, tend to be pretty slow. They really tend to be, especially when you're writing them, because you're trying to cram in as much information as you can. Especially if you're writing something like sci-fi or fantasy, where you have to kind of tell people about the world they're in. That's always a problem. I like to just start in the middle of things, primarily because it gives the reader a few questions, such as, where are we? What is going on? Why is Dawson running away from the police? What did they do? What are they gonna do now? It also, in a way, makes the writing a lot more easier because you're focusing on one particular moment. It's kind of hard to stop and talk about Dawson's tragic backstory when they're running away from the cops. There's kind of other things in mind. Now, did you have fun? The primary purpose of this particular exercise, I think, aside from just getting you to write, is also to give you a bit of experience with this particular concept. It's entirely likely you've done this in the past, and truth be told, it's a pretty good literary mechanism. Let's go with that. And I like to use it every once in a while, especially when, let's be entirely honest, there are scenes in which the beginning part of it is the least exciting thing. Let's be real here. There's, like, the times in writing, and I know this myself very well, I'm honest enough that I can admit it. There are times when I'm like, this scene is important for the story, but let's be real here, like, the first half of it, I don't need to tell the reader, because it's things that they assume, and it also wouldn't be really fun to write. And let's be real, the beginning part, the planning stages of a heist may be interesting, but the most interesting part is when everything goes wrong. And when the cops are after you, when things are at stake, when there's a limited time to get out of trouble, to get out of Dodge. That's the fun part. When there's things at stake and there's adversity. How did you tackle this particular scenario? What was Dawson doing? And what were they trying to do to get away from the cops? Did they try anything clever? Did they run for their lives? Did they start a shootout? What happened? What did they do? You decided all of that. Remember, once again, the magic of writing. I just gave you a scenario. I didn't even give you Dawson's gender. I didn't even tell you what they were doing. You might have written a story about someone who committed a crime for the good of the world, or someone who was just doing it for revenge. A shallow-hearted person, a golden-hearted person, where they were, what time they were, what kind of world they were in. You decided that all by yourself. And that's fun, and that's awesome. And I would love to hear what you did in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed this exercise. I just wanted to give you something nice and easy to get back into things, because I've been wanting to get these videos out again. And someone brought this up, and I thought, oh, I can definitely give you an exercise on in media res. Beginning in the middle of things. Not all stories have to start at the beginning, because the beginning can go really, really far. I mean, where is the beginning of the story? I personally love to start in the middle of things. Start in the middle of a scene where something's happening. Because that's usually how life is, isn't it? How would the story of your life begin? Would it begin with your birth? I don't know if mine would. Because there's a lot of boring stuff between my birth and when things finally got exciting. I would probably begin in the middle of things. But with all that said, I want to thank you for tagging along, thank you for watching. If you have ideas for future writing exercises, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, as well as your writing. Remember that you are free to share your writing down below, as well as other websites, as the ones pictured on the screen right now. Consider using those tags. You don't have to, but if you do, I would really appreciate it. Now, as we're rolling into the formal outro, I want to thank you for tagging along, and I want to let you know that in the description down below, there's a bunch of really handy links, like a link to my novel planning guide, a 1-hour, one-on-one workshop where I walk you through my entire process of how to plan a novel. Book recommendations. What are the books that I think every writer should read? 3 of them in the description down below. And now, as we're in the formal outro up here, writing exercise playlist along with the VWA, the Virtual Writing Academy. Up here, a button to subscribe, click on that pixel face, and get videos like this 3 times a week. Over here, a link to my Patron where you can pledge a little bit of your hard-earned money and get cool perks along the way. And over here, a link to my other channel with my best friend Kitty, where we review anime, play games, and we're very silly, foul-mouthed people. Thank you for tagging along, thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you on the next one.